Yeah, so saying we've covered a lot since we began. We've done a smart contract. We've written smart contract. We've tested smart contract. We've deployed the smart contract of our particular application, the to-do list application. And we also looked at its front end yesterday. We did a web front end, a very simple one, and we walked through that. So today we basically have a full project already, right? We already have a full project. We saw yesterday how we can interact with it, but then the problem is it was still in my local machine. So today I want us to push it out and put it on an online space so that any one of you can be able to interact with it from your end. So that is basically what you're going to do today. Then I'm also going to share the relevant links that you guys need in order to successfully complete the training to your certification. So that is going to be the submission link of your demo project. The instructions are in the resources I shared. Maybe I'll be sharing them again. And there's also that link of pool of experts. So once you're done with your project, you can always submit your details right there anytime. Okay. The instructions are also given in the form, and I hope that will get us going. Now, please, as a reminder, I hope you guys are either ideating on your project ideas or you already have one. I really hope you guys already have one, okay? You already have an idea that you're going to work on after this particular training. And I really hope that you're going to start to work on them as soon as possible. Like I said, if you can do it in Rust, well and good, or if you can train on Rust afterwards, that is, you can just do your demo project in assembly script. And basically, because this assembly script is majorly used for prototyping. So if you can do it in assembly script, then later on, come back and learn Rust and just be proficient in the language and figure out how you can implement the same project in Rust. That will be a thumbs up to you, because then you'll be preparing yourself for the projects that are going to come your way. So I hope you're really working on that. Maybe the other thing would be, okay. Yes, let's see how this is going to be done. And we just take it away. So, okay, I hope you can still see my browser. So we're basically going to deploy our application, and maybe just a recap of whatever we did yesterday. I'm just going to run it, try and run it, that is, still locally, so that we have a look at what we're trying to do. So this is the app that we're going to deploy. And like I said, you're going to do this in Firebase. So you're going to see all the procedures. So this is our app. We were able to interact with it yesterday. I'm already logged in. So if I log out, that is basically going to be the interface. Now, let me just Google Firebase. Now, if I did Firebase, what should that be? So I just Googled for Firebase. Then there's this firebase.google.com. That is the link I just followed. Okay, so following that link, this is the page I land on. Now, if you have a Google account, then you by default have a Firebase account, okay? I love how Google have managed to do that. So if you have a Gmail account or you're logged in your Gmail, you already have this by default. So you can basically go to console. I'm going to click on this. I hope you can really see my cursor. So I just clicked on the go to console link. Then I'm redirected to this particular page. You realize I already have some projects right here that I kind of worked on initially, sometimes back that is. So for us to be able to rather deploy our project on Firebase, we'll need to sort of create a project, or if you have one like I have right here, you can choose to go by with that, but I'll be showing you that in a bit. So for now, I still want to show us how to basically create a new project or add a project. So just click on the add button. It is going to prompt you to enter your project name. So in this case, you can just call it anything. So we can decide to go with the Sanctuary cohort 2. So if you click on the continue, let's see. Yeah, you're going to be asked to either enable Google Analytics for this project or not. Yeah, if you're good to go, you can just click on continue. Then you basically are going to select an account you want the Google Analytics for. If you want a default account to be created there, or you want to use an existing one, you can always select right there. So after doing that, let's say you go with that. If you click on create project, that is basically going to create for you the project. Now, I already created one, so I just cancel that process, and that is what you're going to use, the near courses project. So inside the near courses project, I navigate to that, and you look at the interface, how everything is looking or appearing. So right here, we have everything you can do within your project. You can either perform authentication, app check, Firestore database, real-time database, some extensions, storage for files, or hosting. Now, we're going with this particular option. They're also, these are the two, the functions and machine learning. But for today, we're going to look at the hosting option. So if you click on that, you'll realize that this particular project already has a website deployed to it, but then Google gives us another option. That is, you're not restricted to just deploying one application in your project. So you can do multiple applications or multiple websites can be hosted within that particular project. So I just scroll down, then right here under the advanced option, Firebase hosting supports multiple sites. So I'm going to click on add another site. Then I'm going to give this a site name. So in this case, I'm going to call it to do, I don't know if this already exists. That's unavailable. So let's do NCD. Let me use small letters, NCD. To-do list, right? NCD to-do list. I hope that's okay with us, or someone is giving me some suggestions in the chat. Okay. Okay, maybe you can go with that. Should we call it NCD or near to-do list? Yeah, I think that that is quite elaborative. So we're going to call our site by that name, near to-do list, and we're going to simply add site. So you realize we are now having two sites, one which is already deployed to, and one that is waiting for our first release. So I'm simply going to click on the second one, the near to-do list. I'm going to click on view. Then that brings us to this particular interface. Then since you're going to do this for the first time, we basically are going to follow the instructions right here. So the very first thing you're required to do is to install the Firebase tools globally. Now, I think I'm gonna have to just reshare my whole desktop again today. Awesome. So this is where we were. So I'm basically going to pull up a terminal. Awesome. I hope you guys can see that. Maybe if I can just increase the font right there. So the first thing you're told to do is to install the Firebase tools globally, right? So if I click to, if I copied that and I just came here and pasted it, that should be able to sort of install the Firebase tools within our machine. But I already did that, so let's see what that is going to tell us. Now we can proceed, click on next. The other thing you'll be required to do is to Firebase login. Now, in this case, you realize you're told to open a terminal window and navigate to or create a root directory for your web application. Now, in this case, we basically are being prompted to create a folder or a directory where we're going to work from, okay? Or where all the configuration files for Firebase are going to be placed for us to be able to deploy that particular project to the Firebase servers. Now, in this case, I'm just going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it to-do list, or let's do near to-do list, to-do list. Then simply navigate in it and fire up our terminal from there. So I'm having two terminals opened. The first one should be able, yeah. So this basically installs the Firebase tool. So I can just exit out of this. Sorry. Then right here, I'm going to increase the font because we're going to work from this. So we are told to do Firebase login. If we run that particular command, that should be able to log us in. Let's see what that gives us. So it tells me that I'm already logged in with this particular email address. Now I can just proceed. So to proceed, we need to sort of initialize our project or the project we're going to deploy to Firebase. So in this case, I'm just going to do Firebase init and run that. So there are these questions that I'm prompted with, whether I want to use the space for with real-time database. So I can basically scroll and use my space button to select. So I'm going to select hosting, in this case, to configure files for Firebase hosting and optionally set a GitHub action deploys. So that is the option I've decided to go with. You can select other options depending on what you want to do with your app or in your application. So I just pressed enter. Then I'm prompted to select an option, whether to create a new project or select an existing project. So in this case, there's that project you already created. So I'm basically going to select on or go with the existing projects. And that should be able to list all the projects right here for me. So here are all the projects. We have the near courses. And what do you want to use your public directory? What do you want to use as your public directory, sorry? So we just go with the default public and press enter. Do you want to configure this as a single page application? No. Set up automatic builds and deploys with the GitHub? No. So that went ahead and basically, yeah, availed all the configuration files. I don't know if there's a command like that in Firebase. Okay, so It has selected the one I created earlier, not the one we just created. So I was trying to see how we can basically use the one we've created. I'm trying to get the command, but can't seem to be remembering it. So let's go with that for now. So now that we have all that configured, if I go back to the folder I created, this is the folder I created near to-do list. So here the configurations that have been made after we ran all that command. Then inside the public, this is where we're going to copy all the files, all the front-end files we worked on yesterday. So I'll basically head on to our cohort 2 main working folder. Then the front-end application is right here with us. So I'll basically copy all these except this particular file because that is not part of our application. So I've just copied all that. I'll just copy all that. Then I'll come here and paste. You realize you're going to replace this index.html that has been put there by default. So we simply replace that. And now that we have all the files we want to deploy to Firebase right there, we can basically go ahead and now, we can basically go ahead and now deploy our app to the Firebase. That instruction has also been given right here. So if you want to deploy to Firebase hosting, so here's the information we can specify. Add your site ID to the firebase.json configuration file after you get set up. See the best practice for multi-site. Now, this is a link you can read more, sorry. Now, maybe if we can just open up this particular file, this one right here. Now, how should I do this? Okay. Let me use my VS Code. So we're just going to open up that particular file and try and edit the firebase.json file that we've been told right there. So this is basically the file I'm looking for. So we are told, or rather we are directed to paste or use this particular information, hosting information, site as this and public as that. So we can basically copy this. Let me copy this information. And right here, we can basically paste it. Let me copy these two. Come on. Come on. Okay. I think it's copying. So let me just do that down here. Awesome. So it copied the site. So I'll just come and add that right there. So the hosting information, it's hosting this particular information, this site. It should host it at this particular project we just created under the public folder or directory. So I'll just go ahead and save that configuration. Then if we head back, we are told to, so when we are ready to deploy our web application, put your static files, the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in your apps deploy directory. The default is public, so we just did that. Then run this command from your apps root directory. In this case, Firebase deploy. Now, if we just went to the main project, you just run Firebase deploy and everything would work well, right? I know some of you are already familiar with this, but now that we are deploying another site within the same project, we can basically copy this and proceed as directed. So that is basically what I'm going to paste right here and go ahead and see if this can deploy. So let's wait for this magic to happen. Okay. Seems to be proceeding on. Okay. So that was just done, and you realize that the hosting URL we've been told that the app was deployed to is this, the near to-do list.web.app. Now, if we head back to our console, now we did all that. If we head back to our console and we clicked on this particular, either of these links, we should be able to now see our website, right? So that is it. So guys, maybe let me copy this in the chat and let me have someone confirm that you can actually see this from your end. So maybe you can follow that. Try to log in, try to interact with the app. I hope you guys already have your testnet wallets. So you can basically link your testnet wallets to this particular application. It should be able to work. Okay. Yeah, so that is basically how we go live. Just so if I log in and I select, now this was running locally, so I'll just go ahead and close that. Okay. I'll go ahead and close that. Then right here, I'll connect the wallet I've been using in jitter.testnet. And simply hit on connect. And yeah, here we go. Here are my details and all my tasks listed down here in their rightful tabs, whether pending, active, or completed. And I can go ahead and still add a task right here. Deployed online. So maybe we can just give this a try. I initially have 4 pending tasks. So we just had the 5th one come in. And if I click on the start, that is, I'm going to start this particular task, that will be processed. It will be successful. The page will reload and it should display. Awesome. So that was just brought here under active tasks. Yeah. So application is working as expected. Unless you guys experience some issues from your end. But our application is now working as we expected it to. Okay. So for now, I'm going to share with us the link, the submission links. Submission links for your project. Oh no. Okay. Great. So once you're done with your project, with your demo project, simply go ahead and submit all your details here. So that is the submission link for your project, guys. If you're done with your project, you're ready to submit, just go ahead and you can note as well that link. Maybe you can just paste it somewhere so that you don't lose it later. But in case you lose it, you can always get back to me anytime. I'll still send it back to you. The other one is going to be Let me see if I can find these really quick. So the other one is basically going to be the pool of experts link. So if you're ready to join our pool of experts and you're open to the opportunities that are going to come, then I'm going to share this link with you so you can just submit your details right here. Okay. It's a Google Sheet, sorry, a Google form. You can also note that particular link. Once you're done with your project, you've submitted your demo project, and you meet all the criteria, explained within that particular form, you can basically go ahead and submit your details. That basically tells us that you're ready for the real world projects that are going to come your way, and we can always start linking you to the projects as well. So guys, I don't know if there's any other question. Today's class seems to be going to take really short time. So I don't know if there's any question. Maybe you can just raise your hand if you have any question or you need any clarity in that case. If you have any question or you need any clarity, maybe you can just go ahead and, oh, I'll also need to share these with you guys, the resource link. So here is there's the list of the resources, everything you need about NCD course is all available right there. You can always visit that and just have a look at what's going on. Okay. So is there any question? Yes, Okoli?
Okay. Hello, Paul.
Hello.
Thank you very much for the session for the week so far. So my question is simply, I've been considering projects to embark on, and for the most of it, I think I have a view of doing things around the financial aspect of things. That's doing something like DeFi that has to do with some kind of payment and transfer of funds. That's as near as the near coin or the near token and all. So can I possibly get resources that could guide, because I know this throughout the course of this training, the project we did here didn't have to do with any transfer of funds or any sending of money or anything like that. So yeah. I wanted to know if there's a way I could get a guide, or we could get a guide in general on how to navigate something like that in the near protocol.
Okay. Let me just get that resource. It should be near documentation. Okay. So I don't know if you've checked near documentation, but the guide is there dealing with NFTs and FTs. That is what you've talked about is just fungible tokens. So how to come up with a fungible token project or a token that is running on NEAR. So maybe I can share this information with you in the chat. That is on non-fungible token. Then yeah, then we have all these as well. Now, fungible token is not so much covered in the near documentation as one might expect, but then there are, sorry. Did I share this with everyone? Everyone? Okay. Yeah, there are links to other projects that have been done before. So that is a fungible token link. But then there are many other there are other learning resources that you can consider checking out. That is if you, I don't know if you're new to this, but if you want to read more about what a fungible token is or what a non-fungible token is, and basically what's going on under the hood, then there's a site maybe I can direct you to and just have a look at that. It talks mostly about that. Okay, let's do this. I'll find the link, then update it in the resources, in the Sankore Academy resources. Then I'll let you know, guys, once that is done. I'll find the link to the other resource. Should be Nomicode or something. Let's see, this is it. Okay. So if you're just getting started with NIA and you need a whole bunch of documentation, maybe I'll direct you to this site. I just found it. Yeah. So if you visit nomicon.io, you should be able to get everything right there. Fungible and fungible tokens and all that. All that is available right there. I hope, Okoli, that answers or settles your concern. Then,
Yeah, I'll be looking through everything and confirm.
Okay, thank you. Then the links to other projects done before. I guess I'll just be sharing with you, and I shared this in our previous class, I guess. The GitHub projects, near GitHub projects that have been done before. So let me also just share these in the chat. So that is Christopher. There is the link. Maybe you can just consider looking through that. It contains both assembly script and Rust projects that have been done before. In that case, demo projects. Yeah. So what maybe I'd remind us is ensure you're not using someone's project to do your, rather you're submitting someone's project. If you're going to do that, then ensure you're going to make a major change within the project and elaborate on that change in your documentation. So that way you'll be able to be certified. Otherwise, you'll be jeopardizing your certification. So is there any other question, maybe from anyone before we call it a night? Yeah, okay.